Hello. Right, you asked for the recipe for Pan Tomate. Pan Catalan, tomato bread, the simplest but probably most pleasurable for me of Spanish tapas. So fresh. The key to this is using the best tomatoes that you can, the best big tomatoes that you can, because you want lots of seeds, because you're basically going to turn it into a pulp by grating it. That's the secret. And I just think it's delightful. The freshness of the tomato with the crispiness and garlickiness and oiliness of the bread. Just match made in heaven. So first you want to toast your bread. Now you want your bread to be like a dense bread. So I've used focaccia here. You could use ciabatta, but make sure obviously you're slicing it that way rather than that way, because you might get like holes. Obviously you get in ciabatta and focaccia sometimes. This, I'm also just trialing it with this, which is just kind of a dense wholemeal thing. I'm terrible at cutting straight things, so it's a bit of a door wedge, but really you can use anything, but just ideally not like thin sliced bread. A nice thick dense rustic bread that's going to withstand the kind of juices from the tomato and not go super soggy. It is best to serve this close to the time when you're going to eat it. You can obviously prep the bread ahead of time, because that needs to cool and harden anyway in order to act as a grater for the garlic. The key is good, ripe, really ripe tomatoes that haven't been in the fridge. No putting tomatoes in the fridge because they just lose their flavour. And you kind of, you want them to be nice and soft to work with. You need a box grater. And I'm going to use this setting, you know, the kind of bog standard cheddar setting. Now, I'm going to grate into this bowl, which isn't actually big enough for it, but it's fine. And I always make more of the tomato pulp than I need for certainly this dish, because you can use it across loads of different things, like everything that I tend to make in a modular way. I want to prep once and be able to use that prepped thing across different dishes. So this tomato pulp, you can just make a big load of it. You can use it on this, you can use it in toasties, you can use it as a fresh tomato pizza base if you're making pizzas, you can use it in pasta sauces, you can use it as like a sort of chutney to go, or a salsa to go on top of nachos or curry or whatever. But the point is, save time and energy and hassle by prepping things once and using them several times. So I am simply going to grate my tomatoes, and that is going to turn this into a pulp. Now obviously you'll get down to the skin, and you really want to get as much flesh off as you can, and without slicing your knuckles. We've all done it, haven't we? You slice the old knuckle on the grater and it just is a pain in the ass, because we're always bending our knuckles. I've probably done as much as I can on that one. I am going to do a load. I'm going to use a bit on these pieces of bread, and then I'll just use them over the weekend, the rest of the pulp over the weekend in something else. And if you were being really economical, you could save these skins and just put them in a tomato sauce, put them in a stew, whatever, and they'll just break down, rather than throwing them away too. This is really the thing that makes the dish, is the grating. because essentially your ingredients for the whole thing are the same as like an Italian bruschetta. It's just the tomatoes are cut in bruschetta very finely, but this kind of, this makes it distinctly Spanish. There's the really fine pulp. Okay, so you've got just really the freshest pulp, and it just smells amazing. So next I am going to bring out my already toasted bread. So you can do this really far in advance, you know, hours in advance on the morning if you need it for the evening. It's all good, because this is a grater for your garlic. So actually the harder the better. I'm just going to nip the top off a piece of garlic like that. Now I love raw garlic so much, but just, you know, play it by ear. For this I'm gonna not go quite as wild as I did yesterday, because it was pretty honking. Just gonna do like, what's that, a fifth of the garlic cloves maybe. I'm gonna just rub it on all of the pieces. Another thing that I do is, you know, if you really want to have garlic bread with a meal and you cannot be fucked to do the long-winded way, I literally just toast bread in the toaster, rub it with garlic like this when it's cooled, and just add butter on top. So that's a really quick way to do garlic buttery bread. Okay, so I've done the grating of the garlic on the bread. Now I'm going to use my nicest olive oil. This is definitely advisable, so a nice extra virgin olive oil. It's so worth just having, oh shit, I've just thrown all over my trousers. It's so worth having just one bottle that you use, not for everything, like just sometimes. Okay, ooh! So I'm just going to drizzle olive oil on the bottom there, and if it all goes onto your plate like me, just mop it up like this. You're going to be drizzling some on top as well. Now this pulp, you can salt it in the container before it goes on, but I'm not going to, because I might use this in other things which I use for cooking with my kids. So I'm just going to spoon it on, and then I'm going to just salt it afterwards, in case I want to use that again and don't want it salty. So I'm literally just gonna spoon it on top of the bread. You can use as much or as little as you want, really. Like, the flavour's so powerful that even a little will taste amazing, but I love it, so I'm just gonna go for it. And then I'm gonna pop a bit of salt on. Like, the salt really brings out the flavour in the tomatoes. So a good pinch. And then I am going to just pop a little bit more olive oil on there, like that. There it is. It's so simple, maximum delicious, especially in this weather. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know if you make it, and thank you for watching.